Yes, all of it.
All right.
So I started the recording. Okay. So for the first one,
that was B, and that was just like a fact that we.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. Like,
and then
falling prices. Okay.
So this one was 8%. It was the opposite of what we'd done before, where you subtracted real minus inflation rate. So now you're just adding the inflation rate to get nominal, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so what if the inflation rate, instead of falling, was rising at a rate of 2%? Would it be 4? So the real interest rate is 6. Price level is falling at a rate of 2%. So if the price level was rising at 2%, it would just be the opposite. So if it goes up, you subtract it, and if the price level is falling, you add it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then number 3, the nominal interest rate fell because the Fed got inflation under control. And that's just a fact.
The evidence from hyperinflation indicates that money growth and inflation
are positively related, and that's consistent with the quantity theory of money. So A. And then number 5, if the CPI rises, the number of dollars needed to buy a representative basket of goods increases, and the value of money falls. So B.
Makes sense. Yeah. On the graph, MS represents the money supply, and MD is the demand. The quantities are measured. So which of the following events would explain a shift from MS to M2? And that would be they increase the money supply by purchasing federal bonds. So the third one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's easy. And then open market purchases by the Fed make money supply increase, which makes the value of money decrease.
Decrease, right?
Yeah. B.
Increase, so value of money decreases. Perfect. Okay. M is 2,000, P equals 2.25, and Y is 6,000. What is the velocity? Oh, so I don't.
All this is just MP equals VY. So for this one, it's 6.75. I'm pretty sure.
Perfect.
And then price level is a nominal variable.
Right. Based on the quantity equation, then P equals, it's MV divided, what was the equation again?
MV equals PY.
So it is MV divided by Y, which would make it 2. Right?
Yep.
Sweet.
And then suppose the United States unexpectedly decided to pay off its debt by printing new money. Which of the following would happen? I put all the above are correct.
Yeah, prices would rise. Fixed interest rate would feel poorer. Okay. Under the assumptions of the Fisher effect and monetary neutrality, if the money supply growth rate falls, then...
I'm pretty sure this one is C, so the nominal interest rate falls too, but the real interest rate does not.
Okay, perfect.
But I want to double check that one before we finish, so I'll just write that down.
Okay.
And then 13, the inflation taxes most those who hold the most money.
Perfect. Which of the following U.S. taxpayers allowed to adjust for inflation for the purpose of income tax?
Neither interest income nor capital gains. And then Marta lends money at a fixed interest rate, and then inflation turns out to be higher than she had expected it to be. The real interest rate she earns is lower than she had expected, and the real value of the loan is lower than she had expected.
Okay, so if inflation is higher than expected, then that means the value of money is lower, but you're paying the same amount. So really, but the value of what you're paying is lower, right? So the real interest rate is lower than she expected, and the real value of the loan is, okay, yeah.
Is that right?
I think so.
Oh yeah, okay. I just question it when we start going through it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through these again.
Yeah, for sure. When Haley states that inflation by itself always reduces the real return on her saving, she has committed the inflation fallacy.
She is what?
Let's see, committed the inflation fallacy.
When Haley states that inflation by itself always reduces the real return on her savings. Okay. Why is that a fallacy? I don't remember reading this one.
Just because that's not the only thing that reduces the return on your savings, I think.
Okay. People go to the bank more frequently to reduce currency holdings when inflation is high. This sacrifice of time and convenience that is involved in doing that is referred to as
the shoe leather cost. Then indexing the tax system to take into account the effects of inflation would by itself mean that only real interest earnings are taxed. So A.
perfect. During the tax year, you lent money at a rate of 6%. Annual inflation was 1%, but people were expecting 1.5%. This difference between actual and unexpected inflation transferred wealth from the borrower
to you
to you.
And caused your after tax to be 0.5 percentage points higher than what you expected. So the first one. And then the last one was tightly control the money supply. The central bank.
That one I did have, yes.
And then I wanted to go over 12 and 13 really fast. Make sure. Under the assumptions of the Fisher effect and money neutrality, if money supply growth rate falls, nominal interest rate. So I thought I read this one, but it doesn't seem right to me. Because the real interest rate, or the nominal interest rate, is like what it actually says, but the real is like accounted for inflation and everything, right?
What was that?
The nominal is like the actual number, but the real is like accounted for inflation and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna check number 12, and then I think 13. It might be all of the above too, so I'd check that also.
12 and 13.
Yeah.
Did you notice that they changed the textbook?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Makes it
Isn't
harder
it?
to find stuff.
I thought mine was the same. What's different about yours?
It updated, so like the sidebar is different, and they moved the search bar, and now it tries to like put the textbook next to my grades and like have two things on one page. Did yours do that?
Huh. I didn't notice it, but maybe it's, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just look up this Fisher effect. Okay, so 12 is right.
I think 13 is not B, because in the textbook it says inflation tax is applied to anyone who holds money. I think
But it taxes most the people who hold the most money.
Taxes most those who hold the most. Okay, yeah, you're right. Is an alternative to income taxes. The first one's definitely true. Revenue. Yeah, it's all of the above.
Okay. Well, because does the government actually get anything from it?
Does the government what?
Does it gain anything?
So what the inflation tax? It's not an actual tax where like they write a bill and pass a new bill. It's where they just print more money to pay for new roads and stuff or whatever they want to do. So when they do that, there's more money, which means your money is less valuable, which is like a tax on everybody. But people who have the most money, it affects the most.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Let me double check. So that most. Yeah, those are all right.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see ya. Bye.